Hello and welcome to our market alert video for today, which is Friday, December 15, 2023. Only 10 shopping days left before Christmas, or maybe it's 9. You don't want to be shopping on the day of. I am Ken Moraif. I'm the CEO of Retirement Planners of America. And thank you for watching this video. I want to dive into what has been an absolutely crazy week. The Federal Reserve just blew everybody out of the water. But before I do that, I just want to share a quick story with you. You know, a good friend of mine loves to go hunting, deer hunting. And he's been asking me to go with him for years. I've never shot a gun in my life, and I didn't want to go with him. But he said, you know, it'd be fun. And I said, all right, I'll go as long as I don't have to shoot anything. He said, that's fine. You'll just enjoy the experience. So I thought deer hunting was going to be, we put on the camo, and we're hiking through snow. We're tracking our prey and all of that kind of stuff. No, deer hunting is you sit in a big box on stilts, and you wait. And you're wait for a deer to walk by, and that's where you. So to me, that's not hunting. That's waiting. I'm going to call that waiting. But anyway, we didn't shoot anything. Nothing rose to the level of being a trophy, so they decided not to shoot anything. So I just had the experience, and it was fun. So anyway, let's talk about this last week. It's been just a crazy. So the Federal Reserve, this last week, we got two important data points that we've been telling you in our videos that were extremely important. One was on Tuesday, we got the CPI number, the inflation number, and that came in lower than expected, which is a good thing. We want inflation to go down. But the other thing that happened was, and the big thing that happened was on Wednesday, the Federal Reserve came out and told us what they think about it. And the expectation was that he was going to say, yeah, inflation's coming down, but no, don't get excited. You know, we're going to pause this time. We're not going to do anything with interest rates. But, you know, going forward, we're not ready to say whether we're going to lower them. So everybody kind of stay calm. We'll let the data drive it. Well, that's not what he did. What he came out and said was, not only are we stopping, we're done raising. We're not going to raise this time, and we're done raising. And not only that, but the bias now is towards lowering. Whoa, that just it rocked the world. And so that's why we call this just stop but go, because now it looks like they're going to stop raising interest rates and probably start lowering them next year. Well, this was very well received by the stock market for sure, and the bond market as well. So let's break those two down and talk about each one of them. On the bond side, as we've been chronicling for you for several months now, as interest rates go up, bond values tend to go down, and as interest rates tend to go down, bond values tend to go up. And that's why we, for our clients, have been out of bonds since April of last year, of 2022, because, you know, this has been the worst bear market, the worst period ever, maybe, for bonds since they've been recording them anyway. And so being out of that, we think, was a very good decision. So why? Because the Fed was raising interest rates and bond values are dropping like a stone. So now the Fed has said that they're going to potentially lower interest rates next year. So what does that mean? It means bond values should start going back up again. And so there was a massive rally in the bond market. Pardon me. Now on the stocks, the same thing happened. If the Fed is done raising interest rates, the big concern for stock market investors has been for a long time now that the Fed was going to raise interest rates so high that they were going to cause a terrible recession, massive unemployment, and in the process, they would cause the stock market to crash. So investors have been very nervous about the Federal Reserve. Well, now that they've said they're done raising interest rates, the economy has crashed. Guess what? Maybe things are going to be okay. So investors in the stock market decided to go in as well. So I'm not ready to make my fearless forecast for 2024. We do that in January. But so far, the fearless forecast we had for 2023 happened almost exactly as we said it would. This has been a remarkably accurate year for us. Now, next year, at least on the surface, it appears that the likelihood that bonds will have a good year is very high, because even if and we think the Fed might lower interest rates in the second half of next year. Now, there's two reasons why they could do that. One is because the inflation is slowing down. They feel that it's no longer needed to keep interest rates as high and everything is fine. In that scenario, stocks will love that. The other side of the coin is that what they could be doing is saying, oh my gosh, the lagging effects of all those interest rate rises are now suddenly coming to bloom. And oh my gosh, we actually did create a really bad recession. And now we need to lower interest rates so that the economy doesn't collapse. And if that's the case, then the stock market will hate that and go down significantly. Which one of those, time will tell. But in both cases, interest rates are going down, good for bonds. So right now, our view is that the scenario that the economy is going to be okay is the one that is our base case. But we always believe that you should have a sell strategy in place to protect you on the downside should you be wrong. After all, none of us have a crystal ball. I have one in my office. I just haven't figured out how to turn it on yet. It doesn't work. But last year, in April, our strategy told us to sell and get out of stocks. And you know what happened for the rest of last year with stocks. They were beaten up pretty badly. And of course, also in 2008, we were out for the entire year in stocks because our strategy told us to do that back then as well. So we have our strategy to protect us going forward into next year if that scenario turns out to be the one, which is we have a terrible recession, and that's the reason why the Fed's lowering interest rates. So our view is you plan for the worst and you hope for the best. You don't plan for the best and hope the worst doesn't happen. We don't think that's a very smart thing to do. Now, our goal is to create what we call squippers. And if you don't know what a squipper is, it's the acronym for second childhood without parental supervision. And any client of ours that retires and goes out there and squippers and gets into squippering, we want to see a bunch of people squippering their tail off, their little fannies squippered off. And if we can do that, then we feel we've done something noble, and we'd like to help you as well. So right now, things look to be pretty good. And thank you for watching this video, and we will talk soon.